We've got some family betrayal. Could be considered one of the worst betrayals. Depends who you ask. You guys were giving me so many compliments on my wavy hair the other day that I decided to do it again. All thanks to you. I didn't really love it until you guys hyped it up and I was like, do I like it? I feel like I do. It gives me so much volume because my hair is so thin. So it makes me feel like I have more hair than I actually do. So we brought it back. First story, I caught my cousin stealing my dad's Oxycontin not hours after my dad passed. I'm so furious I banned him and his family from the funeral. My family is upset and trying to get me to change my mind. I mean, you just summed it up in the frickin' title. That's wild. This story was first posted February 10th, 2016. I have no words to describe how furious I am right now. My dad passed from pancreatic cancer 3 days ago. He was diagnosed 2 weeks ago, spent all of the first week and a half in the hospital until the doctors told us to take him home. He spent the last part of his life in hospice care, unable to talk and in horrible pain. I was the only one with him when he passed and it wasn't easy. Having to hold his hand and soothe him in his final moments was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. I'm gonna cry. We're not gonna cry. We're not gonna cry today. We're a big Hispanic family, so we had lots of family coming in and out for the last week. Several stopped by the day he passed, one of which included my constantly in trouble cousin. Long story short, I caught him looting and ransacking the bathroom and the room my father passed in, looking for the Oxycontin my dad was prescribed for his palliative care. Keep in mind, he was prescribed a substantial amount and now I can't find it. I lost my shite, hit and screamed at him, and all but chased him out of the house. I'm furious, and since I'm the one planning the funeral, I've banned him and his enabling family from the funeral. I'm so angry and so upset that they would let him not only disrespect my dad by ransacking his things, but defending him after the fact. When I called my aunt to confront her about what her son did, she defended him and said that he would never do such a thing and that I must have misseen something. So wait, did you catch him in the act of him physically taking it, or are you just, it's gone missing and you think he took it? Since I decided to ban them, I told my closest aunt and uncle to give them the news that we do not want them there and that if they are seen anywhere near the church or the funeral home, the police will be called. I'm now being bombarded by my family members telling me that it's not right to ban them from the viewing and funeral and that I'm being way too hard on them considering that my dad loved them. If my dad had caught them doing any of the things I caught their son doing, he would have thrown him out the doors on his ass. Period. I'm refusing to budge on this. However, my mom, who's kind of out of it since the passing, is now sort of gently prodding that maybe we should relent and allow them in. My siblings and I are generally united, except my sister thinks that maybe we should allow them to attend if my cousin agrees to turn over what he stole and apologizes to our family. Am I being too hard on them? I'm just so angry, I don't think I can forgive it. Interesting. I think maybe it's worth considering a change of heart if he does take accountability and come forward with the pills and an apology. Would that make you feel any better about it? We have an update. The update came 6 days later. For those that asked me if I was sure my cousin was looking through my dad's things, looking for substances, I can 100% assure you that he was. Drawers were pulled out, cabinets were flung wide open. When I caught him in the act, he was actually rummaging through the pockets of the pants my dad was wearing when he passed. So yes, I'm very sure that he was after the pills.
Ooh, drugs in the house. Oh, we're all gonna die.
Okay, that's fair, because I was wondering that too. I talked to my mom about the possibility that hospice took the pills, and she told me that they got rid of all the morphine and lorazepam. The Oxycontin was untouched, and it was hidden in a very specific drawer, which I found unpended. It's safe to say that I know he took them. Anyway, the update. So I was all set to stick to my guns and prevent them from attending. However, I got a call from my abuelita? I know abuela. Is that how you spell abuela? Or is this abuelita? and I agreed to bring her some dinner and talk with her. I know she's been taking my father's passing really hard and I didn't want to do it, but I still felt like I had to hear her out. I sat down with her and I had a long conversation, and some things came out that I didn't know before. My aunt, the one that I banned from the funeral, actually bailed my dad out of jail once when he was a very young man and had a problem with alcohol. She paid for his attorney and legal fees and everything, and I guess the experience is what helped my dad get his stuff together and straighten his life out. I never knew any of this because my dad swore her and the rest of the family to secrecy. I suspect he was ashamed since he worked so hard to keep me and my siblings on the straight and narrow. Abuelita told me she understood how I felt, but my aunt was a huge part of my father's life and that she wanted all of her children there. And that being so angry and taking my anger out on other people would do nothing to bring him back. I kind of broke down. She was right. When I wasn't angry, when I wasn't busy, and once I was left with just myself, all I felt was exhausted and I don't know. I don't even know how to describe a feeling that goes beyond heartbroken. Someone here commented that it was like a grief that puts a death of itself in you. The commenter was 100% right. Abuelita wanted it and my mom wanted it. My siblings and I reluctantly agreed to lift the ban. And my aunt told my other aunt and uncle that we had changed our minds. However, we would really appreciate it if our cousin did not attend. The viewing was yesterday, and of course, they brought their crap bag son with them. He acted like a straight fool. Well, he had the common sense to avoid me like the plague. He had the nerve to act like he was so torn up, made a show of kneeling by the casket, and so on. Oh, then he proceeded to get crap-faced at the bar next door. He promptly returned to the funeral home, wandered into the room where refreshments were being served, and when my brother said something snide to him, a pushing match ensued in which an entire tray of desserts went crashing to the floor. My uncle promptly armed both of them out the door and told them both not to bother coming to the funeral service the next day if they couldn't act right. Which I don't blame him for. My siblings were under strict instruction not to engage him in any foolishness. D-bag cousin didn't show up to the service, but his parents did. The service went far smoother than the viewing. I gave the eulogy and we all said goodbye to my dad. Everyone's gone now. I don't feel angry anymore. Now I just feel so sad and incredibly alone. I'll be missing my father forever. Oh wow. This is just gonna trigger emotions in me. But we're not gonna cry today. Do you guys agree? Do you think he should have banned them in the first place? Do you agree with the ban being lifted because it is a funeral? Let me know your thoughts and feelings and how you would feel about that. That's a crazy, very serious subject. Next story. Am I the a-hole if we don't pay for my son's rehearsal dinner because I can't stand his fiance? Okay, so we don't approve of the marriage then? This is fairly new. This was first posted July 31st, 2025. Just for background, my husband and I have 3 sons. Louis, 32, Cyril, 27, and Jamie, 22. Cyril has been with his girlfriend, Rosa, 27, for 5 years, and Jamie has been with his now wife, Lucy, 20, for a bit longer. We are all very close since it was just this year that my oldest 2 boys moved out, Jamie and Lucy, and their 2-year-old daughter, Letty, will be living with us for a few more years since Lucy is still in school. Letty? That is so cute. I've never heard that name before. That doesn't happen often. We are absolutely fine with this. They are both helpful, sweet, and wonderful parents despite everything. Plus, they're not taking my grandbaby anywhere as long as I can help it. LOL. Louis started dating Jessica, 36 female, about a year ago and got engaged a few weeks ago. To be perfectly honest, I'm not totally sure about her, but he seems happy and he has been through a lot. I don't want to be some evil mother-in-law and have really tried getting to know her, but I think we're just very different. She's kind of conservative politically and my husband is a US citizen but was born in Mexico. So as you can imagine, I do not support and I did not vote for the current administration. Rosa, Lucy, and I have bonded in the past by going to rallies, protests, etc. And this all came up when I tried including Jessica and I invited her. She declined and sent me a long Text. It was still so awkward, but I've continued trying to invite her to non-political things, but I think that one invitation soured things. Other than politics, I also found Jess's attitude towards Jamie, and especially Lucy, gross. I'm not stupid. I don't think that two people with such a big age gap would become BFFs, but Jess seems to go out of her way to make snide comments about Lucy when she is not there. I haven't said anything because it's her wedding and 100% her choice, but I also think it's odd that she asked Rosa to be a bridesmaid, but was even saying she didn't know if they'd be inviting Lucy to the reception. She thinks that she should stay home watching Letty because she won't have fun since she won't let her drink. The venue does allow people under 21 and one of her sisters is 19 and invited. What does she have against Lucy? Also showing Lucy pictures of her sister that Jamie would walk down the aisle. Rosa and Lucy have both acknowledged it but haven't seemed too upset, but it's still gross. Anyways, Jessa texted me earlier asking about the budget for the rehearsal dinner, and I just feel like I don't want to spend any more money on this than I have to. My husband thinks it's best to just leave it, but it feels like it's the principle of the matter. Plus, they're not even having a rehearsal or anything, they just want to have a dinner. My husband's stance is that it's true, we help Jamie and Lucy a bit more than our other sons currently. You hear that noise? It's like when someone showers, it's one unit. If someone showers in this one unit, it sends this crazy noise through the pipes. Enjoy your shower. But we paid for Cyril's college and more expensively, Louie's rehab. 7 years sober, we are all so proud. He said not to let politics get in between the family, but even if she was a true blue liberal, I wouldn't like the way she has been treating Jamie and Lucy. Ultimately, I want to continue having a close relationship with my children and their partners, but I also don't want to be walked all over, and I don't want to seem like I am condoning bullying. Lucy's family completely abandoned her, so we are all that she is left. I don't want her to feel like we don't care about her. At the same time, I know I'm biased towards them since Jamie is my baby, and I've known Lucy for so long that she's like a daughter I never had. So, would I be the a-hole if we don't pay for the rehearsal dinner? No? Why should anyone have to pay for your rehearsal dinner? If that's expected, isn't that a problem? But I guess if you said you would and then you're backing out last minute, I get why that would cause like a riff. We have an update. This one came August 2nd, 2025, 2 days later. A few of you gave me advice to just let my kids work it out, and some of you said talk to Louie one-on-one. So I invited him to lunch yesterday. Before that, I texted the two of them back saying that we'd love to plan them a rehearsal dinner and to let us know if they had any ideas. And Jessa sent us a contract for a place with a $11,000 minimum. Please tell me that's not like an average cost, because I'm never getting married if that's the case. We have about $10,000 saved up for each of our kids for their weddings, first homes, honeymoons. Before you ask, we spent about $750 on Lucy and Jamie's entire wedding. It was much cheaper when all of their friends don't drink. And I didn't want him to feel like I was only taking him to lunch to talk about the wedding, so we did talk about quite a few other things before I asked him how the wedding planning was going. He kind of shrugged like, you know how it is, so I asked if I could help in any way. He declined and thanked me for helping with the rehearsal dinner. I told him the cost was more than we were planning, but we are happy to do so for the family. $11,000 for a dinner? That's insane. That should be the whole cost of the entire wedding. I know that's not possible these days. I have heard all my friends are getting married right now. I hear the numbers for like the most basic package venue. Trust me. Crazy. Y'all, don't be surprised if I walk my ass down to the courthouse, okay? Edit, sorry to spell it out, he acknowledged that Lucy would be invited to all the wedding festivities. He got kind of flustered and just started lying to me about how angry he was at Jamie. I told some of you, but originally Jamie was supposed to be the best man. He and Louie were always so close. When Jamie had first moved out of our house a few years ago, he would call Louie every single day and they would talk forever. Same thing when Louie moved out last year. I know after a blow up, Jamie stepped down as best man, but I did not realize they were this angry with each other. I have never heard Louis talk about anyone, much less Jamie, this way. He called him an a-hole and was like, he needs to grow up, stop being so controlling, and get over himself. And he said that Jamie just didn't want to see him happy. There were other insinuations that I feel were incredibly unfair and untrue, but I let him get out his issues. I know you all think I'm so overbearing, but I had not realized their relationship had gotten so bad. I listened to his airing of grievances for a while, and honestly, I didn't push back much. It was just shocking. And later, when I told Jamie I had gotten lunch with Louis, he was just like, oh, cool, like nothing was going on. We're just not a family that has these kinds of dramas. I told my husband I just thought I should let the boys work it out amongst themselves. He said, we'll see. So not a great update. I have no idea how this is supposed to play out or what I should do, if anything. The wedding is in October since they got a good deal on a cancellation. It's coming up. All right. And apparently we have another update. So do you guys think she's too involved? I don't know, because I have a very different relationship with my family. My mom is like an acquaintance, a friend. She's not actively involved in my everyday, to be honest. And I live in a different city. So I can't relate to this by any means. I've never had that relationship with my parents. I moved out at 17. I've been on my own, kind of in my own world. Is that overbearing, or are you guys equally as involved in your kids' lives as they're adults now? All right, so the next update was August 9th, 1 week later. Please be kind to me. Oh, I know that I have not been a perfect mother or mother-in-law, and I know these issues are not mine to fight, but my family is falling apart. Oh, bless this mom. She's probably getting ripped apart on Reddit. Reddit is a dangerous place, ma'am, for opinions. Last weekend, my son Jamie and his wife Lucy went out of town for a concert. My husband and I stayed home and had Letty, and we had a great time, although they probably FaceTimed us every 2 hours all day Saturday. Saturday evening, Louis and Jessa invited us out to dinner. We told them that we could go somewhere, but we would need to be home by 8 for Letty to go to bed. Or they could come to our place and we could get takeout and hang out here. I assumed they wanted to talk about the rehearsal dinner. They didn't respond until after I got home from church, and my son just texted me and said, we were thinking somewhere nicer, never mind. Kind of odd, but whatever. Everyone got home safely, but Jessa and Louis skipped our Sunday dinner the next day. Then, a few days ago, I was home with Lucy and Letty, and Louis came over with Jessa to pick up the ring. Lucy has this thing with Letty where he will walk in and say, ring, ring, and she'll yell, hello, and then he picks her up and gives her hugs and kisses. But he came in and was just ignoring her, so she ran up with her arms out and yelled, hello, and he just walked past her. He got what he needed and then left, but I was appalled. I asked Lucy if we should tell Jamie, and she said that we probably shouldn't, but how are you going to be so rude to your niece, she's also his goddaughter, just because you're mad at her dad? But that brings us to yesterday. I went grocery shopping. You went grocery shopping, so you were not there at this said incident. Louis came over to bring something to my husband, who was outside / in the garage with Jamie and Letty. Louis and Jamie got into an altercation that became physical. My husband says that Louis instigated the physical fight, but he's not sure about the rest since his only goal was to get Letty inside. When he got back outside, it seemed over and nobody was hurt, but they were still yelling at one another. My husband told Louis to leave, and when he did, he had Jamie go downstairs to cool down. I asked him what even started the fight. He said he isn't sure, but everything escalated so quickly and I've never seen him shaken up in so long. We don't know how we're going to move forward, but I finally agree with you all. This is Jamie and Louis' issue to work out. I can't blame myself, and I certainly can't fix it myself. My husband and I told Louis he was no longer welcome at our home, and he lashed out at us, telling us that we were taking his side, and I told him, listen, he attacked his brother in front of his child. They both deserve to live somewhere that they feel safe. The other thing is that Louis works for my husband, and he's well within his rights to make him do a substance test. Are we concerned about that? Do we think that's why he physically attacked his brother? Was he on something? As for the wedding, I have no idea what to do. My husband says we should just give them the money we promised them and just be done with it. That breaks my heart, but it might be the only way. Jamie just told me a few times that we just need to get through the wedding and maybe things will work themselves out. I don't know if he means that, to be honest. I'm just so sick. I wish there was something I could do. I'm trying to set up some time to spend with my middle son, Cyril. I feel bad that he's in the middle of all of this too, and I don't want him to think I have forgotten about him. I can't imagine having such issues with my siblings in our adult ages where we are fist fighting each other. That's cuckoo bonkers to me. All aboard hydration station. We got a lemon cup today, but there's no lemon. I have not put any lemon or cucumber or anything in my water. Cheers. Drink some water. Drink some water. You need it. Speaking of weddings, at the time of this recording, my best friend just got engaged yesterday morning. And she sent me a picture when I was at the gym. So I immediately stopped my workout and I ran to like the corner of the gym and sat on the floor and I FaceTimed her and I was like bawling my eyes out. It was so dramatic, but I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I have 5 weddings this year. My entire friend group decided this year that they're all just getting married and engaged. It's been a lot, but it is the year of love, baby. Here we go, everybody. Going to the chapel and we're gonna get married. Gonna get married. Christy's a fiance, hey, hey, Christy's a fiance. Next story. Am I the a-hole for digging into my brother's girlfriend's past and telling him the results? If she's like a serial killer, no. I'm so nosy. Like truly, I want to know everything. This story was first posted July 13th, 2025. How long is your shower? My younger brother, Adam, had a rough childhood, to say the least. Our father passed away when he was under 10 from cancer. Our mother is likely bipolar, but definitely narcissistic tendencies and abusive. I'm older by a decade and did what I could when I could for him, but basically I failed to protect him and didn't understand what he needed. All to say that his descent into alcoholism wasn't a surprise, it was expected. A couple years ago, he had an incident that caused him hospitalization and began his recovery and sobriety. He is over 2 years clean now, hugely due to the new relationship he started months ago after his incident with a kind-hearted, lovely woman. I'll call her Eve. He brought Eve over to meet us shortly after they met, and she's been a welcome part of our family. She makes gifts for my kids and treats. She's always fun to speak to, and her quirkiness fits in beautifully. As we got to know her, we've learned about how traumatic her life has been. They're kind of trauma bonded, but she's so understanding and empathetic. She told us about her twin, who passed away in high school, how her siblings and parents loved him more and treated her badly as the survivor that was always less than. She also had another brother who passed away in war in Iraq. That was the golden child after her twin passed. This poor family. She couldn't seem to gain her mother's approval or attention, and we bonded over those feelings of not being wanted or good enough. She told us she was originally from Scotland. Her father was a sheep farmer who moved to America to buy a cattle farm because of the cowboy movies, so she has dual citizenship. She also said because of this that she spoke 16 languages. Is there even 16 languages? How many languages are there in the world? What a fun fact that I would just randomly like to know. How many languages in the world? Oh! Y'all, it says there are roughly 7,000 languages, different languages that are spoken across the globe and the world today. I could name like 5.
That sounds like a you problem.
She worked at a college and had multiple degrees too. Overall, she was incredibly nice, took care of Adam, and seemed super well educated and proper. Sometimes she had her Scottish accent too because she has been around her family. Then she started to tell us about her past relationships. 3 divorces. One was from a person who had gender reassignment surgery. The other passed away by his own hands. Oh. And the last had attempted to take her life, shot her, and then had ran from the cops to ditch where he passed away. The trauma this person has been through. She showed my kids the scar. I felt like after 2 years of knowing her, she was a great fit. So last week when they had a bad argument, I tried to reassure Adam. I had him come over to talk and he told me that she had lied to him about not speaking to a friend of hers anymore. Some guy who was apparently a popular guy in high school. She lied because she didn't want to believe he wasn't a good guy because she's always had so much bad luck with men. Adam was struggling to move past the lying, but wanted to work it out, and I support him in whatever he does. I talked to my husband about it, and he asked the most basic question. How does she have a popular high school kid here in town if she was raised in Oklahoma on a cattle farm? Honestly, I have PTSD, so my brain sometimes gets mixed up. I assumed I was wrong. It turned over and over in my head, though, for a couple of days. I finally caved while my husband played video games, and I began a casual search into her. Googled her name, and her address came up. Then I realized her history of addresses were all in America, all going back pretty far. So I checked her parents and their addresses before she was born. I was so confused, I Googled them and found recent obituaries of her grandparents on both sides. They're all from America, and they only mention 3 kids by her parents ever. Obituaries usually list preceded in death, and these do, but no grandkids in the list. No additional brother of hers. Not only that, but she lived at the same address her whole life in Kansas. I looked it up on a map and found the high school nearby and searched the yearbook. I found her 12th grade, no twin, okay, but he passed away. So then I checked the 9th grade, also no twin. The deeper I dug, the more proof of the lies. Only 2 marriages on record, both still alive. One did change names from male in the marriage to female in the divorce, but that seems to be the only true thing she's ever said. It's absolutely shocking. Finally, my husband said I had to tell Adam. I was against it, and then as the pile got larger, I said it was an in-person conversation. He insisted it need to be done, so I put it all together into a document and I messaged Adam. I asked a few clarifying questions about the twin and the ex-husbands. I apologized and provided information to him, and I hoped that I was wrong. Within 10 minutes of sending it to him, he said that she admitted everything to him. He is absolutely lost now. 2 whole years, so many, many, many lies. I am just baffled. Why? Like, if they ever got married, it would have unraveled so quickly. As it stands, she has been able to keep him away from her family by allowing them to disrespect their age gap. He is noticeably younger than her. She refused to go to an uncle's funeral earlier this year because she claimed he was a predator. I hate questioning that, but maybe she just didn't want Adam to find out that her uncle was born and raised in Kansas, not Scotland, and so was her dad. So is she faking a Scottish accent? She was here with my kids, having them feel the bullet wound scar from an incident that never happened. There is no criminal record for either of the exes. There's none of her either, thankfully, but good Lord. I wish I could put the cat back in the bag on this one. Why lie? And why didn't I check her background sooner? I literally checked my kids' date in high school to make sure their parents aren't on a registry or anything. That's really smart, actually. Clearly, I'm not a parent. That's very smart. I should have checked her much sooner. Now the life and family they were building is in ruins, and I'm terrified of losing his sobriety. I'm feeling really guilty for looking it up and telling him too. Not sure I did the right thing because he's heartbroken. Am I the a-hole? No, because your intentions are that you're trying to look out for your brother. Your brother and his sobriety are your priority. You had good intentions, and truly, the only one to blame is her lies. I would want to know. If my siblings found some shady stuff on Matt, I would want to know. We have an update, which came pretty recently, August 12th, 1 month later. She had come clean immediately and taken him to visit her parents to explain it. She has untreated borderline personality disorder, apparently. My brother, who I call Adam for this, is a recovering alcoholic with a huge heart. He was absolutely determined to stay with her and not toss her aside for being human. He thought this was the righteous and noble thing to do, to not discard someone who is struggling or damaged in their time of need. My husband and I were determined to support him regardless of his choice because we love him. She told him that she could never be around us again and that she was scared of us. We assured him that we would never be rude to anyone he dated and that we were more than capable of being around her. I genuinely think when she realized that we weren't going to let her isolate him by pretending like she had a reason to fear us, it was over for her. It lasted only a week after our dinner with him, where we showed him unconditional support and reminded him that he was the victim repeatedly. The following week, she went out with friends to a bar. He asked where she went and with whom, since this whole thing started because she was lying about not hanging out with some jerk that didn't respect my brother or their relationship. Oh, right, the popular guy from high school. She said that she didn't have to show Adam anything to prove where she was and that she can't heal like this. She expected to play the victim to him as if him asking for accountability and transparency was him being controlling. Then he said that he can't be in a relationship where he can't trust someone. She was clearly hiding who she was with and where she was. In response, she gave him 30 days to move out. So this weekend, we are moving him into his own place. He is, of course, still reeling from the whiplash of whatever the heck the last 2 years of lies have been with a woman that he thought he would marry. He has a strong support system though, and he's absolutely going to get through this. He's even quitting smoking during this, which I could not imagine trying to do in this level of chaos, but he is determined. I think that's for the best, truly. Whether you're a pathological liar and you're just lying, or you really do have a personality disorder and a mental health illness, that would be so hard to know when you're being honest or not. Because you just lied to me for 2 years. That would be really difficult. Let me know your thoughts and feelings on these stories, you guys. I'll see you in the comment section. Stay classy, out there. Stay sad.